Wow, that sucked. Very aggravating loss because it seemed like the Flyers were going to win this one. As the game was going on, they had a good first period. Second period, again, they get outplayed and outchanced and shot. Didn't have a great second. Penguins went up by one. They mucked and grinded in the third. Couldn't really get much towards the middle of the ice, but they end up tying the game. They get a point, and they lose on a very unfortunate goal by Letang on a wraparound that the one angle it was in, the other angle it's inconclusive. It's just a whole mess on the replay, and it ends up counting, and the Penguins would pick up a 3-2 win. And without Crosby, Malkin, Russ, Dumoulin, Pettersson, and Ruhwedel, Letang was the only one in, and he would, of course, score the game winner. I thought the Flyers played okay. They played their game at times. First period was great. Had 17 shots, generated a lot of chances. For giving up a goal 16 seconds into this one, it was just a simple shot to the net. McGinn had tipped it. It goes right through Hart between the arm above the pad, and it's like, great start. But before that, let's get into the Lions. Exactly the same from last game. Giroux, Couturier, Konechny, Farabee, Brassard, Atkinson, Lindblom, Lawton, JVR, Albie, Kubel, Thompson, and McEwen. Perovy, Braun, Sanheim, Russo, Yandel, and Sealer, Carter Hart. All those guys out for Pittsburgh, as I mentioned. And, as I said, Flyers are down 1-0, 16 seconds in. And it seemed like you didn't want this one to get away from you early. Like, we've seen it before in Pittsburgh where they had Penguins come out with crazy leads. They get early goals. And it seems like this happens every single time they play the Flyers in Pittsburgh, and they always get like that lucky bounce, and it felt like their second goal, really all three of their goals were like this in this game. Like, you get a lucky bounce, Gensel just throws it to the net, and it goes, somehow misses Carter, hits the post and goes in. Hart couldn't get a piece of it. And the best was that he flubbed the shot before, and then the overtime winner. I thought in the first period, the Flyers had a lot of chances off the rush. They had good momentum. They forechecked really well. They were able to turn over pucks, or force the Penguins to turn over pucks, and they were able to generate scoring chances. It seemed like the fourth line was generating some chances for the Flyers. They ended up having a power play. They didn't do too much with it. Farabee had a nice play one-on-one, ended up going the net on a power move, ended up getting checked. McEwen ended up winning a race. Pass in front to Thompson, just went over his stick. Really nice shift by the third line after that. Lawton found Lindblom in the slot for a chance. Great save by Jari. And then Konechny had a chance off a Couturier drop pass. Brassard, he had a chance in front. He ended up missing the net wide. Flyers had many chances late in the period to tie it, but had 17 shots in the first. Penguins had 8. And again, it seemed like the Flyers were able to settle the game down in the first period. And the good thing is they've been able to do that in games. They've been able to settle the game down, generate chances, either tie it or whatever, but they just can't. I don't know what it is, but they just can't carry it over to the second period. They didn't have a great second. They had a chance early, literally off puck drop, and that was about it. They ended up getting a power play, and this was after the Penguins had a power play, but the Flyers had a pretty okay penalty kill, ended up killing that one off. Then they get a power play, they tie the game. Konechny scores 1-1, really nice pass by Giroux, down low, roofs it, tie game, nice play. Now you're back at square one, and you can maybe try and go for the lead. And then seconds later, Matheson ends up hitting the crossbar on a chance, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, their defense, like, it either took them way too long to get the puck out. The fourth line was caught out there with the third defensive pair like 3 or 4 times in the game, and they were just stuck, hemmed in the zone. Couple plays where they would just throw it to a random area or just kind of reach forward or just swipe at it when they could just move their feet, get it out of the zone, and change. Like, the fourth line had a couple good chances offensively. They didn't look great defensively, but then the Penguins ended up getting the 2-1 lead back. Gensel scores. It would look like a harmless 2-on-2. And again, as I said, he flubs it, just throws it to the net, and it goes in off the post. It was very similar to the Quinn Hughes goal that he scored against the Flyers in the couple minutes after the Flyers took the 1-0 lead on the road there. It was just shot from the point, went off the post, off the back of Jones and in. This was kind of similar. He just threw it to the net, off the post and in. and it's a 2-1 lead for Pittsburgh. JVR would miss on a breakaway. There was just crazy, like, a lot of open plays in the last handful of minutes. Both teams had chances left and right. Flyers could have tied it. Like, they were pushing. Jari had a very good game for Pittsburgh. Flyers did an offensive zone draw late. They didn't put out the first line. They put the third line out there with 18 seconds left, and they could have been a chance there to at least tie the game. If you saw earlier, I did the show with Yuri Wallach and watched the game at his house with him, and we both had said it, all right, put the first line out there. And the second line was out before, and I'm like, okay, put the first line out. You have offensive zone draw with 18 seconds left, which would have been on Drew's main side, his best side to take a face-off, and they didn't put them out there, and it was just the Penguins kind of controlled the play, and the period ended. So really wasn't a good period overall. They have to do something about the second period. You can't keep playing like this in the second period and expecting to win these games and having to either come back or hold a lead or pick up the game in the third, especially with the schedule that they have coming up. I mean, you have Washington, you have Toronto, Dallas, Carolina, Tampa, Florida, Carolina again. You have Boston coming up. Like, you have very tough games. You have the Islanders that end the month. Like, you have these tough games coming up, and you cannot keep playing like this in the second period if you want to, A, compete in this division and in the Metro, and B, at least compete for a playoff spot as the season goes on. But then again, it is only Game 9, and there are a lot of things that they did well in this game, but the bad kind of overlooked the good. They were really struggling on breakouts at one point in this third period. The Penguins ended up getting a power play, really, really bad penalty on Albie Coppelli. Pretty much just sucker punches Friedman in the offensive zone, mind you. Takes a penalty. Very good PK, though. Really aggressive. They didn't really give the Penguins anything. Konechny had a 3-on-2 rush chance right into Jari's chest. Hart had 2 really good saves on Kapanen, and then the rebound on Rodriguez. Risto fumbles the puck, and it's essentially, if I believe it was McGinn who had this chance, if he scores, this game is pretty much over. Hart had a really good save, and then Ristolainen ended up getting high-sticked. And that was pretty much not even really a 2-on-1. It was like a 2-on-0. And they had the look. Hart made the nice save. It went to the corner, and Risto got high stick. So power play, only 2 minute though. First unit couldn't really get much going. Second unit had good puck movement. Brassard had a shot. Couturier had a chance. Okay, so I apologize for the cutscene. I was right at the power play mark when I had a storage issue on my phone apparently, and the video just stopped and froze. I noticed this when I had just uploaded it to YouTube, and it was stuck at 7 minutes and 40 seconds when the video was like 11 minutes long. So, Flyers didn't really do much with that power play as I was talking about as before the video cut. But a couple minutes later, they got a chance, turnover behind the net, JVR right on front, Lawton, shot, score, 2-2 game. They end up being able to come back and tie this one, and I was starting to get nervous. I'm like, all right, come on, like, they're getting chances, like, just tie this game. Who knows what can happen in overtime? I thought it was a okay third. They definitely had their looks. They didn't play great defense, but they definitely played better than the second. And they get a point. They go to overtime. They had a couple shots, and then Letang goes down, goes on a wraparound. Looks like it's just a good save by Hart, and then they go to review it, and everybody's like, uh-oh. And, yeah, that would count. So, again, I do apologize for the cut in the video, because as normally, if you watch my videos, you know they're just one take. So, I usually don't do many cutscenes or anything like that, and, it's not really my thing. But it is what it is, and sometimes you gotta kind of just have to deal with the cards that you're dealt. But overall, I thought it was an okay game from the Flyers standpoint. Definitely could be better. Second periods need to improve, though. I mean, you have a tough schedule coming up. Like, me and Yuri were talking about it on Don't Panic earlier. You have Carolina twice. You have Boston. You have Tampa. You have Florida again. You have Dallas. You have the Leafs. You have Washington on Saturday. The Islanders at the end of the month. You really don't have a very easy game this month at all. So you really need to pick that up, and the Flyers can't really keep going into these games thinking that they're going to win if they play second periods like this. Carter Hart, I thought, looked very good tonight again. I don't really think Hart's had a bad game this season. He's had one really bad period, and it was the first game of the year, and that's been it. The PK I thought was good. They were able to keep the Flyers in the game off of that penalty that Albie Coppel took, but besides that, it was an okay game. Now you have Washington on Saturday. We'll see what happens there. Remember, guys, podcast articles, those links are on my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.